The Enclave was once the heart of magical development and trade for practitioners of magic all across the Maida Basin. Not all weavers claimed it as their home, but those that did built a legacy of progress, constructs, and innovation, the likes of which have not been seen since the Surge almost half a century ago, when a cascade of arcane disasters racked the Maida, and without warning, the Enclave sealed itself away behind a magical wall known as the Veil. Rich and powerful leaders were wounded and killed. Decades of war broke out. Every nation suffered an economic collapse. The world is calmer now, but magic has been shunned, taking the blame for decades of unrest. Weavers remain pariahs to this day. Most places tolerate us if we don't stay too long. While some weavers remember what it was like before the Surge, I've never known a time when weavers had a home. I chose this life years ago, but I'd be lying if I said it has lived up to all I hoped it would be. Stop! Still, my luck might be changing. A few weeks ago, I began traveling with a new weaver band. Now, they've brought me here, where it all began.
Thanks.
Bryn! Over here. What do you think?
When you told me that joining your band meant I'd see the Veil, I wasn't picturing this.
No one's been this close in years. The base is shrouded in tangles. Weavers have known about this safe zone in the Veil's shadow for decades, but no one has found a route into it. Until now. You have no idea what I had to do to puzzle out this passage.
I definitely want to hear that story later.
My hope is that we're going to find artifacts from the Enclave itself deeper into the shadow. I'll stay to oversee the camp setup. Why don't you take the preliminary scouting expedition?
Really?
Of course. It's important for the other weavers to see how you do in the field. The map I bartered for in Tarza suggests there's a watchtower deeper into the valley. Shouldn't be too far from where we are.
That's my first landmark, then?
Yes. It should help us get our bearings before we start the search for the Strand Road. And if you make any discoveries, that will endear you to the band.
For sure. I'd love to find my footing with the rest of them.
I'll act as the watcher on the scry and pull you back if anything gets too dangerous. Just steer clear of the tangles. Any questions before you head out?
The Strand Road?
A famous trade route into the Enclave that led straight to Denevron, the hub for bartering magical goods. Before the Surge, caravans used the Strand Road to enter and exit the Enclave with their goods. It's been completely submerged by tangles, unfortunately. Still, if we can get any closer to that passage, we will find rare artifacts lost in the Surge.
I know the scry is a standard device across weaver bands, but my previous leader, Aaron, didn't really make use of ours.
He sent you on expeditions without it?
I mean, I wore the earpiece, but he didn't exactly stay close to the table at the camp while I was out.
That's incredibly dangerous. I'm surprised you're still alive.
Yeah. Anyway, mind explaining how it works in your Weaver Band?
When you go on an expedition, you'll wear the earpiece, which allows me to communicate with you and give directions from the scry table. At the table, everyone will be able to watch your expedition and communicate with you as needed. The last, most important function of the scry is that it allows me to use magic to pull you back to camp when your life is in danger.
Right. The Strand Road?
A famous before the... It's been still.
That clears up anything I needed to know. I'll head to the watchtower.
Glad to hear it. You can head out then. No visuals on the scry. Can you hear me?
I can. Some interference, though.
Must be the tangles. Still, strong enough to pull you out like we practiced. Dom?
I'm on it.
Even more impressive up close.
Just this. Should magnify the enchantment and...
Tangles. Beautiful.
And deadly. Give them a wide berth. The closer you get to the veil, the thicker they'll become.
Its shadow is believed to be impenetrable.
Until now.
Wall is completely frozen.
We should expect enchantments to act strangely this close to the veil.
See those glowing bulbs? Infernal alliums. They combust when broken.
So if I toss one at the wall, its fire will melt the ice.
Brilliant! Best to use kinetic magic to keep clear of the blast.
Knowing the watchtower's relative position establishes the distance to the Strand Road. You can come back to... What is that?
Coral. There were rumors of a living mineral that grew deep beneath the Enclave's surface. It seems they were true.
There's more of it in that cave. I could take a closer look.
Too risky to deviate from the plan. First outing was just to reach the watchtower.
This is going well. I say we check it out before finishing the expedition. Beautiful. I've never seen anything like it.
Darm's right about it being a living mineral. I can feel it humming with magic.
Wait, I'm losing...
Aurea?
Bryn, connections back.
Yeah.
Pulling you out.
His breath. I knew this was a bad idea.
We can't extract you.
Darm, fix it. And Lane has tonics on standby for her return. Head out of the cave so we can get our bearings.
It's an Ash Peak Drake.
Quick, your frost magic can cool a path. Dawn's still working on the scribe, but you need to keep moving. Lame, got anything from the map?
There should be a minor patrol path ahead that loops back to the watchtower. Oh, it runs close to the Veil, though.
It's our only option.
I'm on it.
Aurea, that Drake's acting like...
Let's just focus on getting her back safe.
I'll go back to unpacking now.
Nice work. Keep moving. Damn it, Casmin was right. That Drake is rotting. Erratic flight. Aggressive. It won't stop.
Skies, what do we do?
We get you back to the caravan fast. Clear line of fire. Good time to use your bow.
Following this brook should lead to the path guards used to reach the watchtower prior to the surge.
That Drake is never far behind. Just keep going.
That's the path.
Return Drake Ring. Final strength.
can't be an Ark.
No one has seen one in almost 50 years, let alone outside the Veil.
The Archons never left the Enclave. Still, you need to get... You've got to hold it off. We'll work on an escape plan.
Strangest.
Got them. Hang on, Bryn.
Everything okay back there?
Change of plans, everyone! Back up!
You're...
What? We're coming to you, Bryn. Follow that arc. We need to go. Now. Up ahead!
Has anyone else noticed we're practically sitting on a loom gate?
That can wait, Dom. Aria, you should be resting. If your wing doesn't heal, our point is out of commission.
That's what I need to address. While my wing recovers, Bryn will take over expeditions as our acting point.
You sure she's ready for all of this?
Bryn did face down an Ash Peak Drake and lived to tell the tale. I think we're in good hands.
Yes. I have every confidence that she will make a great point.
As long as we don't all die here first.
Our arrival was rocky, but I will do everything in my power to ensure our survival. If we avoid unnecessary risks, we'll be back on our feet in no time.
I'm glad you're taking this seriously.
Exactly. When we first set out to investigate the Veil's shadow, we had no idea we'd end up here. The Enclave was once a safe haven for all Weavers, and the pinnacle of innovation. Since the Veil went up, Weavers took the blame for decades of war. Stories that put children to bed, preached the evils of our magic, all because of what happened here. We owe it to ourselves and to our brethren across the Maida to find out not just what happened, but why. Maybe then, Weavers can find our place in the world again. But first, survival. Bryn, that's you and me. Find me when you're ready. Adjourned.
The scry. The whole band gathers around when I'm away from camp. It's nice to have people literally watching my back. You've been busy.
It's a work in progress. Taking stock and all. We lost a lot of gear running for our lives. Speaking of, are you doing okay?
I'm great. This is the opportunity of a lifetime.
A point has to have that kind of attitude. Just be careful. You don't want that lifetime to be cut short. Oh, and listen. We've got your back, okay? All of us. Right now, we need to focus on getting our feet back under us. And you need to get the lay of the land while we do.
Sev, how are you holding up?
Oh, fine. I mean, I'm trapped inside a magic bubble that's filled to the brim with life-threatening creatures. Also, left an entire known world behind, and I'll probably never see remnants of my past life again. But, you know, I'm fine.
Well, good to see you're settling in and totally not catastrophizing.
Oh, sure, it's no big deal. It's not like we lack supplies, and we're completely prepared for whatever awaits us.
Sev.
This apprenticeship is turning into more than I signed up for.
That is completely understandable. We're all reeling.
Yeah. You're probably right. Listen, I should get back to helping Sola.
I was talking with Sola earlier. She is a great listener. Maybe talk to her about how you're feeling too?
I wouldn't want to burden her.
She'd be happy to help.
I'll I'll think about it.
Loom gates must need a massive source of magic to function. Instantaneous transit across hundreds of leagues.
Dom? Hello? Everything okay?
Brain, you are going to check out the loom gate at some point, right?
Yeah, of course. I'll get around to it.
Good, good. Why it refuses to function is a mystery we must unravel together. A priority.
Not worried about our survival in an unknown land filled with volatile magic like the others?
Details. There is so much to discover, survival will take care of itself. Or Casman will insist it does, at least. So, our acting point. Is your heart racing at the prospect of traversing these lost lands?
I just want the real action to start. I want to find the biggest, baddest creature in the land and I don't know, climb it, or tear its strands free, or chuck a boulder at its head.
Would you mind flipping the order of those last two? A boulder might wreak havoc with the integrity of the strand.
For you, I'll think about it.
How thoughtful. You're going to make a great point, Bryn of Carnhaven.
Thanks, Dom.
Of course. Now, if you'll excuse me, something else is tugging at my attention.
Loom gates.
Loom gates.
I wonder how this arc managed to get us through the Veil.
By the looks of it, it was a one-way ticket.
Well, the Enclave built many arcs and other magical constructs. I've never heard of one designed to repel Drake's breath, though.
You think we might find another arc that could help us escape?
Or possibly repair this one? It must be special somehow. As Aurea said, the arcs never left the Enclave, yet this one did.
We know as much as we can from looking at it. Time to start exploring if we want to find answers. Lane, you seem lost in thought. Settling in all right?
Oh, Bryn. Yes, I am. And you? I notice you've been checking in with the others at the camp.
You did? Are you spying on me?
Oh, of course not. It's my vocation to observe. Not just you, everyone. In fact, if you'd like, I can tell you a little about the others. You are newer to our band, after all.
Before joining, I knew Aurea's band was renowned for its top-notch techniques in weaving. Why do you think that is?
To keep a points expedition gear competitive, you need a smith and an enchanter working in perfect harmony. And there's never been a pairing more harmonious than the union of our enchanter, Dom, and our smith, Sola.
They are sweet together.
Did you know Sola is descended from nobility in the Sansa Empire? Shame her family lost their fortune, though I suppose that's why she's so down to earth.
Are both Dom and Sola from Sansa?
No. In fact, Dom hails from Renland, where magic is completely forbidden. I often wonder if Dom's fascination with enchanting would be as obsessive if magic wasn't dogmatically kept from him as a child.
Sev is relatively new to the team too. Has Sola taken on smithing apprentices before him?
No, she's never had an apprentice before. I don't know how he came to be her apprentice either. No one seems to.
That's a little odd, isn't it?
Not really. Typically, Ram are very secretive, culturally speaking. Sev may remain an enigma. I wish he would open up, though. I'd like to learn more about his people.
I've travelled with the Weaver Band before, but it wasn't quite as functional as this. What makes this one run so smoothly?
The obvious answer is Aurea. Not only is she a strong point and leader herself, but her mother is one of the most famous enchantresses of our time. She's grown up surrounded by excellence.
Wow. Still, it sounds like a lot to live up to.
If it is, Aurea makes it look easy.
You said Aurea is the obvious answer to this band's success. Is there a not-so-obvious answer?
Ah, yes. While Aurea runs the field, when it's time for the caravan to move, it's Casmin who takes over. She used to be a quartermaster on the docks of Don Brennig, facilitating relief efforts for the Udean Federation. With the speed she can pack a caravan, it's no wonder that Aurea trusts her to take over when it's time to move.
Given that I'm the newest member, how do you think I fit in?
It speaks volumes that Aurea trusts you with taking over the expeditions this soon. I would have thought Casmin might take over in this interim period instead of you.
Casmin?
Up until about 6 months before you joined, Aurea was training her to become her replacement as point. It was going well, then out of nowhere the training ended, and Aurea began searching for a new point. I don't know if it was Aurea's decision or Casmin's, but either way, I suppose it's all for the best. You wouldn't be here otherwise.
Casmin hasn't been the most welcoming towards me. I wonder if she could be upset that I'm the new point.
Knowing Casman, if she has a problem with you, it won't be long before she confronts you about it.
Ah, great. Lane, offering insight about the others is nice, but I came here to talk about you.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Tell me about yourself.
There's not much to know, really. I suppose I'm the typical third child to a second son of a patriarch of a minor mercantile house in Judea.
What?
I've enjoyed the experience of growing up in a family embroiled in feuds so long-standing that no living relative can recall inciting incidents firsthand. At a young age, scholastic endeavours became my escape from the familial turmoil until I could finally leave home, and so on and so forth. Nothing but a classical presentation of third-child issues in a Judean mercantile family.
Right. And how are you feeling since we entered the Enclave?
Truthfully, I'm not sure. Nothing's really wrong, but never mind.
You sure? Whatever's on your mind, I'm happy to listen.
Yesterday, entering the Enclave in our lifetime seemed impossible, yet today, here we are. It strikes me as an opportunity that was profoundly easy to miss. That's all. Anyway, thanks for listening.
So this is a loom gate. It's taller than I expected.
The Enclave constructed these for transit. Oh, imagine being able to travel leagues instantly. If only it were working.
There's no sign of damage. It just seems inert.
Deactivated, perhaps? Or simply lacking the energy such a powerful enchantment would need.
You'd know better than any of us. If we could get it working, though.
Oh, the possibilities. All the places we could go. Oh, to hold the hand of my most darling wife as we whisked around the Enclave. Metaphorically, of course. The loom gates famously moved people one at a time. Too dangerous otherwise, I imagine.
You're cute together. It's great to see a couple that shares such a love of their work with one another.
Who could have it any other way?
After being together for 7 years, we're bound to have something in common.
Come, my love. There must be something in the archives.
Hey, Casmin. Recovering from our wild entrance into the Enclave?
Save it, okay? I know I should have been more prepared to move.
Hold on, that's not what I...
If I had been more prepared, we wouldn't be missing half our supplies. With more supplies, I could have done a better job patching up Oria's wing. If I had fixed her wing properly, we wouldn't be in unknown territory with a point who...
Whatever it is, just say it, Kaz.
You're no Oria. I'm sorry. But she has more experience and who knows what's out there.
I know my job is important, but we all have a part to play in our survival. I know you can do yours. Trust that with everyone's help, I'll be able to do mine too. I'm not in this alone, Kaz. Neither are you.
You're right. It's just that Oria has been point for so long. I need to give you a chance, though. I'll try.
That's all I ask.
I was impressed by how you handled that Drake outside the Vale.
A little terrifying, I will admit.
But you kept a cool head and didn't let it get the better of you. Not everyone can do that.
So after all the legends, this is it. The Enclave.
Legends for you, maybe. Some of us trained under weavers who were born here. Still, It is surreal to see it for myself now. You're going to be out there, exploring. Promise to take it all in for me.
You must be devastated that your wing is holding you back.
I can't deny that my heart breaks at the prospect of being stuck behind the scry. But knowing I've found the right replacement helps. Besides, this wing won't keep me down for long. I'll be back out there soon enough.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Anyway, enough with the sentimentality. For your first expedition, we need to get the lay of the land. Thankfully, Lane Free has an old map of the Enclave to help us get our bearings. It's 60 years old, pre-Surge. No chance it's accurate, but that's where you come in.
I'll update it as I go.
Exactly. We've made camp in what was once a way station for caravans entering the Enclave. Just below us is Glintwood Hollow, a valley on the outskirts of the Enclave. I've scanned it from the Overlook, and we've got 2 landmarks of note. A second loom gate, and what appears to be a giant statue, possibly an ark.
You can see it from here? Must be massive.
If either is functional, Dom will throw you a party. I'll be with you on the scry. With fewer tangles, we're hoping the connection will be stronger. The path is down by your tent.
I'll head out now.
Your tent. Might not be glamorous, but you can rest here when you're not gallivanting on expeditions.
It's perfect.
I don't know about perfect. I could have done a better job if we didn't lose half our supplies when we passed through the Veil.
Seriously, I didn't have anything close to this in Aaron's band. Half the time I was lucky if I didn't sleep on dirt.
Huh. That's unfortunate. I'll leave you to get settled.
Clear as a sands of summer, Bryn.
No interference from the Enclave?
None. The connection is much stronger than outside the Veil.
That's reassuring.
That's the edge of how I'm pulling you. Brace for it.
More arcs.
I'm not really happy we're here. Arcs were supposed to be used for manual labor. Hostility is strange.
Fresh water in walking distance of the campsite.
I'll set up a purifier for it and collect later.
The point. What a beautiful view.
Hydra's broth, aptly named for the spirit of water that flows.
Creatures could be hunted for food. Any of these plants look edible?
Dan will put anything in his mouth if he's curious enough. Whatever he doesn't vomit, we'll eat.
Just try not to poison him.
This must be the second loom gate.
What's covering the base?
I'll check it out. A lot of debris on the platform. I could clear it with kinetic magic.
What about the loom gate itself? Is it functional?
No sign of life, but see that cloud of raw magic? It's leaking from the broken pipe near the edge of the platform.
So we have two powerless loom gates and a tangle leaking out of an enclave construction. I wonder if Lane still has that treatise we picked up in Tarsa.
And he's gone.
A set of schematics. Talmakind smithing? Maybe Sola would know.
This must be Hydra's leg.
But makes a still. Why name it after the spirit of flowing water?
I was right. It is an arc. A great one.
It isn't moving. I'll get a closer look.
An arc of the stricken earth, I would guess. Any chance you could bring a piece of it back to camp?
Doubt my sword is strong enough.
Then there's not much we can do with this for now. Dom seems to have an idea about the loom gate, at least. 2 Enclave constructs, neither of them functional. Good news. Lane found a shortcut back to our camp for you, and we've got the Wisp working.
The Wisp?
Watch as Wisp. Channel a little magic into your earpiece. I'll redirect it to guide you from the scry to the shortcut.
I see the path.
Good. That should take you to the shortcut.
That should be it. According to my map, it's a man-made tunnel that grants easy access to the way station.
Bryn's back. Let's fill her in.
We believe we found a way to activate the loom gate in our camp and in Glintwood Hollow.
Skies! What are we waiting for? I want to be the first one to travel through a gate.
It will be a defining moment of your career.
So, how do we repair a loom gate?
What made the Enclave remarkable was not merely their constructs, but their ability to power them. It has long been rumored that beneath our very feet exists an extensive magical network known as the Tapestry. The pipe you found in Glintwood Hollow is proof of its existence. It must be a conduit that directs raw magic to the loom gates as a source of power.
And the tangle that formed around it was a leak.
Precisely. Our theory is that patching the rupture will restore power to the gate.
Thankfully, Seven Lane have a plan for that.
We don't know a lot about arcs, but I dug up some old stories from logs that we inherited from a weaver band that broke apart. In notes dated before the surge, this band managed to get one of the enchanters who worked on the arcs riotously drunk and talking.
Apparently, the Arcs have a thin carapace between their skin and their armor plates that's nigh immune to magic, and can be separated in segments. A magically resistant material like that would be perfect to seal a rupture in the tapestry.
So I need to cleave this carapace off the arc. There's no way my sword is strong enough.
Come see me and we can make some improvements to Sola's forge. Which, in turn, means...
I could hone your sword so we can cleave the carapace, no problem.
We'll talk.
One more thing. You'll need to remove the debris on the loom gate's platform so that we've got a clear workspace once the patch is forged.
Easy enough?
Everyone's got a part to play in this. Let's get to work.
wonders of enchanting an arc and loom gates. We can touch them, smell them if we want, and they don't work. Maddening.
Did you
Did I what?
smell the loom gate?
A little, but that's beside the point. But mossy, hints of sage, a subtle yet full-bodied undertone of dirt.
Amazing. Well, now we just need to get it working.
Oh yes, should our plan succeed.
And if not?
Then it is time for Plan B, which I have not yet thought up, but I'm sure we won't need. Solar, this plan to repurpose Carapace to fix the loom gate's conduit? Pure elegance.
Zev's idea. I only helped him with the design.
You did more than help. You practically finished it.
What is this? A competition of humility? You're both brilliant, just like this design.
I can agree with that.
I suppose.
They are quite the thing, aren't they? Tangles, I mean.
After what it was like outside the Enclave, the ones in here are child's play.
It is an enduring mystery as to why the Veil's shadow is flooded with them. I did not expect that they would be so common inside the Enclave.
Are they common anywhere?
No. They were theoretical until the Veil went up. And then, of course, they became... political.
What exactly are tangles?
To our best understanding, magic is more than just energy. As far as we know, raw magic is a physical substance, but normally invisible. Our mantles gather it from the air as we move, but tangles prove it can concentrate on its own.
What did you mean by political?
The surge was specifically catastrophic towards enchanted equipment. Explosions, out-of-control activations, you name it. And tell me, logically, who were the most likely people to have enchanted items on or around them?
The rich and powerful?
Well done. So, in a single moment, you have what seem to be hundreds of assassinations.
And decades of war followed.
As I said, political.
You said they were theoretical. What did you mean?
Lane and I have been digging. The only research on tangles we could find were thought experiments until the Veil's appearance. As you might expect, that research was done here in the Enclave. Apparently, they did not publish everything they knew.
Thanks, Dom. That helps me understand them better.
Ultimately, the most practical advice I can give is very simple. Don't stand in the murder cloud.
Did you see the size of that mine entrance? Amazing, isn't it?
You mean the one behind that huge deactivated arc?
That's the one. Given the size of the entrance, I can only imagine how huge the mine must have been. Their yields must have been incredible.
I've heard the rich resources are a big part of why Weavers first settled this area.
The land's hostile, but they knew it was worth the risk. Ores from the Enclave are high grade, very pure. Classic design here.
It's quite a thing, being rescued by the scry.
Disorienting. But better than the alternative.
I'll only ever use it when I'm sure it's needed.
How exactly does it operate?
Similar to a loom gate, but much more focused. I maintain a constant flow of magic into the scry and it connects to you.
Letting you see the area around me.
In an emergency, I can, I guess yank is the best term, on that connection.
How come you never hear about scries being used by military? Or to bring nobles home after a night of debauchery?
Rarity and expertise. Scries are enclave enchantments, and when the veil closed, supplies ceased. On top of that, it takes someone with exceptional control and stamina when channeling magic to use one for any length of time.
Got it. That's why points become watchers. It's really nice, having the sensation of you and the others watching over me. You're like the guardian spirits from the stories every Carnhaven child knows. You protect, advise, and of course bicker.
Well, I don't know about spirits, but we'll be your guardians any day.
Compared to my last band, I'm glad we actually use the scry.
Just don't take it as a license to be reckless. Risky business flirting with death.
Hey, I know we need to fix up the forge, but before we do, I'd like to talk to you about something.
Sure. What's up?
I owe you an apology.
What for?
I've been a little cold since you've arrived, and I should have been more welcoming. I was just under a lot of stress with everything that happened.
You mean when we ran for our lives from a death cloud into a lost land?
Yeah, that. And losing supplies, and Aurea getting injured, and then having a point takeover who...
Lacks experience.
At the time, that's what it seemed like. But ever since we arrived, you've been more than proving yourself. You made finding food and water a top priority. That's when I realized our Weaver band is in good hands. I underestimated you when I shouldn't have, and frankly, I was a jerk about it.
It's okay, Cass.
No, it's not. I really am sorry. I hope we can have a better relationship moving forward.
Thanks. That means a lot. Let's just start fresh, okay?
I'd love that.
So, I know Sola mentioned improvements to her forge meant being able to hone my sword. What does that entail exactly?
Unfortunately, the missing supplies I mentioned.
Is there a way I can help you restock?
Right now, we reserve the materials you bring back for your armors and weapons, because that's the priority. But if there's anything you can spare, I can repurpose them into supplies for our campsite.
Sounds simple enough.
Glad to hear it. These are a great start. With the supplies we've got already, we could shape up our campsite. We lost a lot of stuff when we were running for our lives, and frankly, our setup is only half of what it should be. But we can rebuild.
What do you have in mind?
Like we discussed, Sola could forge better weapons with improvements to her smithy. Like honing your sword so it can cut through arc armor. Alternatively, Dom could certainly care better for our mantles with new tools for weaving. And to keep you in fighting form, having Lane's alchemical tools in top form is invaluable. There's no end to the improvements we could make around here. And everyone's lives would be safer for it.
What about you?
Me? Oh, I don't need anything.
Come on, there must be something.
I mean, would new shelves be nice? Sure. I also have some ideas for your supply pouches. But don't worry about me. I'm fine. Right now, improving Sola's forge is more important.
Kaz, don't be shy. If it's shelves you want, it's shells you'll get. We'll organize the crap out of this place in no time.
No, I don't need them. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm fine.
Come on, say it with me. I deserve new shelves.
No.
Yeah, I thought that was a stretch too. Don't worry, we'll make some improvements around here.
Thanks, Bren. Sola is delighted with the improvements to her forge. She can refine your sword as soon as you'd like. Great work, Bryn.
Turns out we make a pretty good team. This campsite will be top of the line in no time.
Yeah. We're definitely going to need to start directing a water flow to the camp. Maybe even install a fountain in the back. Would help to get a garden going in here too. Fruits, vegetables, medicinal herbs. Oh, that reminds me, we'll need the... What?
Do you ever take a break? You know, to enjoy a job well done?
Sure. Sometimes. Once there are fewer fires to put out, I'll relax. I swear.
You know, I've had a lot rattling around in my head since we got here too. Sure, there are so many new discoveries, that's exciting. But we're also trapped inside a hostile environment. Balancing the discoveries with survival is hard. Sometimes it just gets so loud in my head, you know?
Yeah, I do. It's like waves crashing down on me from all sides. All these awful thoughts of what could happen keep dragging me under until... Never mind.
You can tell me.
Until I can't breathe. Or it feels that way.
I get it.
You do.
Completely. Maybe we could slow down and catch our breath together sometime. It would definitely help me.
Maybe. I'd better get back to work, but this was nice.
So, how often do I need to return to camp? Do you need me to report back frequently?
That's entirely up to you. Points privilege. You're the one taking the risks, so you can gauge how far and how long you can push. From time to time, I or the folks around the camp might have requests, but we'll defer to your priorities. And if you get into trouble, I'll pull you to safety. Might lose some resources, but that's a small price to pay.
Got it. A lot of responsibility.
Points privilege.
You know, when talking to Lane, they mentioned that you actually trained to become Point yourself. Lane said the training was going well, and then one day, it just stopped. Can I ask why?
Honestly, it was just too much for me. The responsibility that comes with being Point. I guess I caved under pressure. Leaping headfirst into danger isn't for everyone. What made you decide to become a Point?
I love using my skills to serve our band. It brings me a sense of community I've never felt before.
Really? That's what I love about being a quartermaster.
I guess we're both fueled by camaraderie then. I always felt like a black sheep back in Calnhaven.
And has being Point given you what you're looking for?
So far, yeah.
Good. For a long time, I felt like I let Aurea down. She wanted me to continue with the training, but I just couldn't. When she offered to keep me on as a quartermaster, I was surprised. In time, it made sense, though. I always enjoyed the planning of my expeditions, more than the expeditions themselves.
So you've been happier as a quartermaster?
Yes. This is much more my speed. Besides, someone needs to hang out with Arva. Seriously. I'm more than happy to leave the creature wrangling to you.
I'm not sure I have what it takes to pack a caravan anyway.
I've seen how messy your tent is. You most definitely do not.
Color me delighted that we're starting to restore our capabilities around the camp. When the time comes, I'll work with Casmin to create some new tools here.
Then we can start weaving more intricate strands into my mantle, right?
Yes. You harvest, I'll weave, and we'll have you channeling such magics.
I couldn't help overhear Dar mentioning the Surge's impact on the politics of our lands.
You really do pay attention to what happens around here, don't you?
A survival instinct. Growing up in Judea, you realize the walls have ears. If some of those ears aren't yours, you're at a disadvantage. That was actually the problem, you see?
The problem?
After the surge cascaded through the Maida, every kind of long-range magical communication broke down. So you have magical chaos and no way to confirm if your nation is under attack. You assume the worst and retaliate. Judea, my homeland, was hit hard. Our trade fleets had become rather dependent on magical navigation.
And they couldn't find their way home.
Or at least to a safe harbor. You could argue the loss of our fleets was worse than any individual war.
Because the trade network suddenly collapsed. My parents used to talk about shortages during those years. It got rough, they said.
Yes. And the worst wars are fought over resources when people are desperate. I very much hope we can find the true cause of all that suffering. And a way out to share it with the rest of the world after we do.
I knew we'd recover. We always do. Still feels nice to have my core tools back this quickly.
Still a long way to go, but we'll get there.
Speaking of, I've something for you. We've been scavenging around the way station and reclaimed a fair amount of useful materials. They're stored away and ready for you. Should be enough to reforge your sword as we discussed.
What's the key difference between reforging my gear and just making something new?
If you want gear that does something fundamentally different, make something new. For instance, there are fabrics, metals, leathers, and so on that are highly resistant to heat. A suit of armor made of a combination of those would have been incredible against the Drake you faced in the Veil's shadow. If you don't need something additional, and just want to improve what you already have, that's when you reforge. Keeps the clutter down in the caravan.
Can you also reforge armor? Improve my bow?
Sure can. Weapons or armor, we can rework them with different materials as you prefer.
What should I expect from a reforged sword?
It depends on the materials we use. Some hold edge better, making your swipes that much more deadly. Others make your gear lighter, or, for something like armor, change the way it handles heat and cold.
Sounds like it's time to make something that can punch through arc armor.
That's the spirit.
Shouldn't we be trying to find a way out of here?
Focus on one thing at a time. It's all we can do.
What is there to focus on except that we're stuck inside a magical bubble for all eternity?
How about your share of the camp setup? Less worrying and more unpacking, please. There you go. Not just good as new. Better.
Now that I can cut the carapace free, what's next?
Whenever the band is collaborating on a problem, I'm often the one to create the design, and you'll put it together with me. At least normally they're my designs. Sev actually came up with this one. With carapace and enough metal, I can forge his patch for the leaking conduit.
Any particular metal required?
No, just enough of the same type. Sev and I try to keep our designs flexible to work with whatever we've got in the caravan. Once you have everything we need, we'll forge the patch here.